Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily if you're new here. Today's video is a very exciting video. I am filming this intro at the end of this challenge, but I will be reading 30 manga in 30 days. I'm so excited for you all to watch this month of me reading 30 volumes of manga from 30 different series. So I read volume 1 from 30 different series in this video and I had so much fun. I found some absolutely new favorites. I just really enjoyed making this video and I all hope you enjoy. I'm going to leave this intro bittersweet so we can get on with the video, but I talk more about it in the first clip. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll get on with the video. I'm going to be pulling my first book for my 30 manga in 30 days challenge. I'm extremely excited for this. I have 30 volumes of manga in this cup that I will be pulling out every single day for 30 days of the month of September. There will be volume 1 from 30 different manga series that I'll be reading. And I will be tier ranking every single volume that I read in what I think is the best and if I will be continuing on with the series. I have been completely inspired by How to Train Your Gavan 30 manga in 30 days video. I love that video. I thought it was so entertaining and I wanted to do something like that and put my own take on this video. So I'm doing a reading vlog for the 30 days. I hope you stick around. If you like manga, please stick around because I will be reading from a huge variety of genres in the manga community. So I am going to pull my first one out because it is currently 10 p.m. and I'm so tired. I need to read the first volume. I need to come back and let you guys know how I feel about it and we'll go from there. So I have written down the names of the mangas that I'll be reading and pop them in this mug. So I'm going to pull out one and we'll read what gets pulled out. So yes, let's get started. So I'm just going to give it a good shake. I'm so excited but so nervous at the same time. Some of these will be physical books and most of them are also on my Kindle because I luckily have access to Kindle Limited, so I was able to download a heap of manga volumes off KU. Okay, so we have the first one here. Let's just unwrap it. Ooh! So we got Happiness Volume 1. Now, I don't know what Happiness is about. I'm not even going to lie. It seems like that Happiness is a horror manga. So I will check back in with you all when I finish Happiness Volume 1. Okay, so I'm coming on here to do my update for Happiness Volume 1. So I finished Happiness Volume 1 last night, which was day 1. And I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think that's what I'm going to rate it. It was so weird. It was definitely depraved in a way. Like, some of the dialogue was extremely depraved. Our main character who we're following is at a high school and he's bullied pretty much every single day, and he's bullied into buying other people's lunches and being their servant boy sort of thing. And then one night he goes home and decides that he's going to go return a DVD that he had borrowed, and when he is riding his bike back to the DVD place, he gets trampled on by a vampire, and it just looks super depraved and gross. Like, this vampire who is this girl, we don't know who she is yet, but she is the depraved vampire who literally is like scouting out people from buildings and then jumping down and biting them. And she basically says, do you want to die or do you want to become like me? And he says, I don't want to die. So then she bites him and sucks his blood out, whatever. And then fast forward, things start to happen to our main character and it just gets really weird from there. There were some panels that were quite depraved with him and he's like inner fantasies, I suppose. That's what I would say. But overall, I gave it a 3 stars. I would continue on with the series because I'm quite intrigued to see where this will go, so I may pick it up again, but I'm mostly going to rate these from 1 to 30, so I'm popping this as number 1 at the moment because it is the only book that I've read so far, but 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out day 2's book. Oh, so we got Fairy Tale Volume 1. And I also have Fairy Tale on my Kindle, so I will be reading that on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm coming on here to do my update for Fairy Tale Volume 1. So Fairy Tale Volume 1, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed Volume 1 of this manga. We follow our main character Natsu. He is a wizard. He's a part of the Fairy Tale Guild. His best friend, his name is Happy, and he's actually a talking cat. So that's really fun. And then we meet this female character. Her name is Lucy, and she wants to become a part of the Fairy Tale Guild so badly that she'll do anything to get into the guild. So the guild is basically a companionship and a group of people who join together as wizards and go on quests together, making it easier for a wizard to accomplish what they want to do. It's kind of like One Piece in a way. Well, not really. Like, obviously the story is entirely different, but there are similarities with One Piece, with wanted posters and jobs basically to earn money. So I haven't personally read One Piece, but my partner saw some of the manga and some of the panels, and he was like, oh, that looks similar to One Piece in a way. So I don't know if there is actual similarities, but I will be reading Volume 1 of One Piece throughout this challenge at some point. So I will obviously be able to tell if there is any similarities with the art style as well as the plot line. But yeah, so Lucy, she is this character right here, and yeah, she wants to be part of the guild, of the Fairy Tale Guild, and obviously she doesn't really have a companionship. She's not a part of a guild. So when Natsu comes to town, there is an opportunity there for her to get into the Fairy Tale Guild, because he comes to town in attempts to finding a dragon shifter by the name of Salamander, but there is an imposter that's like impostering this like Salamander, because he isn't the real person, and like has charm magic, so charms all the women in this town for him to fall in love with her, and it makes it easier. And then there was like a bad guy in the first volume. So overall, without giving too much away, I really enjoyed Fairy Tale. So I'm going to rate this one 1 out of happiness and Fairy Tale. So this is going to be sitting at 1 on my rating scale out of 30. So far, so good. I definitely will be continuing on with this series at some point. I had so much fun with it. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling out my day 3. I'm using my Fairy mug if you guys didn't know. Oh, one fell out. I may as well just use this one. So I got Love Me, Love Me Not, Volume 1. Right, I have the physical copy of this one. Pulled out Love Me, Love Me Not, Volume 1. I borrowed this from the library. This is about 2 friends, Yanu and Akari, are complete opposites. Yana is an idealist, while Akari is a realist. One lady killer, Rio, and the oblivious Kazuomi joins their ranks. Love and friendship becomes quite complicated. So we've got 2 male interests and the 2 friends here. I'm very intrigued by this one. So this will be my 3rd day of this challenge. I will check back in with you guys once I finish this volume. You can hear birds outside. I apologize. It is 6:25 a.m. and they're just going crazy. I'm about to leave for work, but I thought I would check in and let you know that I did finish Love Me, Love Me Not Volume 1. This one was quite cute. We follow 2 friends. We follow Yuna and Akari, and Akari is this girl right here. She's got purple hair, and Yuna is shy and not very well spoken, and she's extremely shy, let's just say that. And she believes in love in a way from like fairy tales. So she fell in love with a prince from a manga series when she was little, and that's how she thinks that how you fall in love sort of thing. They have to be charming and perfect, and they just like fall in your lap sort of situation, whereas Yukari is the entire opposite and is like, no, you need to put yourself out there for a guy to fall for you, and that's how you fall in love. So they have different views on love. That's where this volume kind of went. Yuna has a crush on somebody who at first she thought was Yukari's boyfriend, but turns out it's her brother, and they live in the same building as each other. So that's how they become friends to start with, because Yukari moves to town and they form this friendship, and I thought it was really cute. There were some cute moments in here. I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading this. It went really quick as well. The dialogue wasn't too long. So I'm giving this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This one definitely was very enjoyable. So it's not as enjoyable as what Fairy Tail Volume 1 was. So I'm putting this at ranking at number 2 out of the 3 so far. So this is going above Happiness Volume 1, but not above Fairy Tail. But I definitely will be continuing on with this series. I have the series available to me at the library, my local library, so that's fantastic if I want to go and borrow those. So yes, I'm going to pull out day 4 now, so I'm kind of nervous. So I got Zombie Cherry Volume 1, and Zombie Cherry is on Kindle Unlimited, so I downloaded that on Kindle Unlimited. Let me just get it up. Zombie Cherry is officially day 4 volume pink. So I'll update you all when I finish it. Okay, so I apologize for like this sort of background last few updates. I will be changing around the room soon, but I will give you guys an update on how Zombie Cherry Volume 1 went. Now, my mistake. They have been releasing their volumes as chapters, so I actually only read chapter 1. It literally took me like 10 minutes to read, maybe. It was very quick, but I'm just going to give you the rundown about what chapter 1 is about, because it is not a spoiler if you want to continue on with the series, since this is just a startup of the series. So we follow a young girl, or we follow a teenage girl. She's about probably 16, 17, currently in high school, and one day her friend comes over to wake her up from bed because she's sleeping and dreaming, and she's dreaming about this guy that she has a crush on. And then her friend wakes her up and was like, do you want to try my juice out? Like, it gets you going for the day, you know? He calls this juice cherry juice. So what she does is she takes a little dollop of the cherry juice the first day, and straight away, like, super active, like hyperactive, gets so much done basically. And she goes to school and sees the guy that she has a crush on, and she's currently reading like this horror volume of manga, and he comes up to her saying, well, that's really cool, like, where'd you get that from? And then she lets him borrow the volume. So then they bond over horror manga and horror movies in general, like Japanese horror movies. So then he asks her to go to the movies the next day, and she gets so excited, gets home, and then goes to try to go to sleep. Then the next day she gets a fever, and she rings her friend and was like, I need you to come over here right now because I need more of that juice. So he comes over and he's basically telling her, like, you shouldn't have it again so soon. It can make you really sick. She's like, I don't care. And then literally sculls the whole bottle of this juice and goes crazy, like blows up energy, and runs out of the house. And she ends up running into a car and hits her head, and then what happens is she dies. But because she's so loaded up on this cherry juice that she's still goes to the movies, has the best time, and then is chatting with her crush, and he was like, no, I really enjoyed my time here. And she was so excited, she's like, my heart is going to go. And then flatline, she couldn't feel her pulse or a heartbeat, and so she came back and was freaking out, was like to a friend, am I dead? Like, what is going on? So that is what happened with Cherry chapter 1. That was how it ended. So I definitely will be continuing on with this series. Since I only read chapter 1, I think there would be like 4 more chapters for like a full volume, but I'm still counting it as 30 days, my 30 challenge. So I'm going to rate this one a 4 out of 5 because I actually really enjoyed the first chapter. So I'm going to rate this one 3 out of the 4. So it's going to sit 3rd on the scale, I think, out of the 4. That's my final rating. So anyways, I'm going to pull out day 5. So day 5 is Noragami Stray God Volume 1. I think that is on my Kindle. So I'll be reading that on my Kindle and I will update you all when I finish it. Hello, so this is my little voiceover as I'm actually going away for the weekend. So I'm going to be pulling out the next few volumes of manga that I'll be reading over the next few days. Hello, if you can see my vacuum in the background, just ignore that. I just filmed my books and makeup tag, so this is why I have makeup on at 8 o'clock at night, but I am coming on here to do a big update on all the manga that I've read recently for this reading vlog. I need to pick out 2 more volumes to read over the next day because I'm a little bit behind, so I'm going to try and up to 2 volumes per day until I catch up to 12 volumes tomorrow. So I'm just gonna like catch up to what I can, so hopefully I'll aim by the end of the week to be caught up for like 1 volume a day, so 30 manga in 30 days still. I'm not too far behind, but I did go away on the weekend for a little vacay holiday camping, so I didn't do much reading, but I will talk about the first volume that I did read in the car, and that was Noragami Stray God Volume 1. This follows a young teenage girl who has been seriously bullied, and so she's in the bathroom and she's crying and she's bullied at school, and the stray god shows up and he is like, I will grant you whatever you want for like 5 yen. So she gives over the money. He erases her classmates' recollection of her and they forget about her, and then she gets even more upset because she isn't remembered by anyone. And yeah, it just gets very weird, and there's a lot of like this guy is very sassy and up himself, thinks he's the best god in the world and that he's a stray god, but he thinks he's like top shit basically. This is like a shoujin manga, gods and monsters, typical, reminded me of Jujutsu Kaisen in a way, like the demon slaying aspect, and then he had to have this counterpart of a person to devote themselves to him and his cause, which they turn into some sort of a weapon. So then he's on the hunt for someone like that to help him because his last helper quit on him because just how ridiculous he was as a person, and she didn't want to put up with it anymore. So that was that. So I am giving this a 3 stars. I didn't like it that much. I don't know if I will continue on with this series. Personally, it wasn't for me. Yes, volume 1 was fun, but yeah, I don't know. And then he comes across a girl who basically runs herself into a bus, like sees a cat on the ground and starts chasing the cat, and the bus hits her, and then she starts changing where she will collapse or faint and her spirit will leave her body and she can run around in her spirit form. So that's very interesting, and then they become friends. But overall, I don't know, I don't remember the characters' names, so obviously it wasn't that memorable to me, but I will probably rate this one, probably sit Noragami in 5th place, so it's not really anything more enjoyable than the other volumes of manga that I've read, so it will sit at number 5 at the moment. And then last night I read Prince Freya. So this one was so much fun. I really enjoyed this 4th volume. So we follow Freya, and she is a girl who was picked up by this family, and her friends are a part of the prince's, so yes, her friends have been a part of Prince Edward's guard, and they're his personal guard, and so they come back and to see Freya, basically catch up with her, and one of them has always wanted to look out for her as a younger sibling, but he ends up kissing her. So obviously a bit of a weird communication between the two of them, because she thought that they were just friends, and then she starts like falling for him because she realizes that he likes her as well. And so the guards have to go back to the castle, and basically they go back to the king and report that Freya is not in the town that they were supposed to go and find her. For some reason they were meant to go find her because the prince is very ill and will die, and the only person who can save him is Freya. But she ends up going to the castle anyways because she wanted to see her friends, and what happens is she ends up finding the prince, and he tells her that she's the only one that can save this kingdom, and turns herself into the prince. So like the prince is a part of her now, which is so confusing in a way, but at the same time it was really good. But then drama happens. The other army comes after them in the kingdom, and her friend Aaron, so Aaron, her friend, ends up getting his head chopped off. He gets shot, his head falls off, and that's the end of him. So his brother is still alive, and they train together, and she becomes this prince, basically has to change her personality to suit the kingdom. So that's how this story started, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens next. I'm rating this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It, I think, is going to sit at number 2 in my ranking out of the 6 books currently. I really enjoyed this, and I will be continuing on with this. Okay, and then the final book that I read today was LDK, and this is a sort of like comedy, romantic comedy drama manga series. I had so much fun with this first volume. I love these two cuties. They are teenagers, go to high school, and they are neighbors, and then one day the main character's apartment burns down. Well, it gets caught on fire, and it's going to take a few weeks to repair for him to move back in. So he then moves in with the girl, and at first they're like kind of like nemesises. Like they don't, like, she doesn't like him because she thinks that he's a fuckboy, but he has the hots for her. And yeah, it's really cute. The first volume, like, he's like, I wouldn't mind if people see us in public, and she's like, no, like, you don't want that, because her best friend had the hots for him or something. But then she realizes, like, her best friend realizes that her friend likes him and is okay with it because she knows. And I'm just thinking I'm going to continue on with this. Like, I had the best time reading this manga. So it's getting a 5 stars from me because I read this so quick and I loved it, and I want to read the whole series now because I want to see where this relationship goes. I'm loving a cheesy romance. So this is sitting at number 1. LDK volume 1 is sitting at number 1 currently. I had the best time reading it. So I'm going to pull out 2 more volumes, and I will then check back in with you once I finish those. So I'm kind of running low on options because I still have manga coming in the post, so I will add them to the jar once I receive them. But this is number 1. Ooh, I will be reading Deadpool Samurai volume 1. So I do have that physically. So I'll be reading this one, volume 1. I really like the Deadpool movies, so I hope it's just as action-packed as that. And then option 2. Right, I think this one's like a gothic manga. It's called BIZENGHAST volume 1. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be totally wrong, but I do also have that physically, and I got this from the library. The cover is really cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna read it out actually because I'm not too sure. So
BIZENGHAST. Not every lost soul is a lost cause. When a young girl moves to the forgotten town of BIZENGHAST, she uncovers a terrifying collection of lost souls that lead her to the brink of insanity. One thing becomes painfully clear: the residents of BIZENGHAST are just dying to come home. Right. So this is definitely like a gothic book, a gothic read. I'm excited. So I will be reading these 2 books in the next 24 hours, and I will check back in with you guys once I finish them. Hello friends, it's like really late at night, but I want to give an update because I finished 2 volumes of manga today. So I did finish both DEADPOOL and BIZENGHAST. I'm still trying to pronounce this word. Please tell me how to pronounce it because I have no clue. But this one got a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. We follow DEADPOOL obviously, and he's currently in Japan for a mission with the Avengers. Basically, Iron Man is in this and he tries to get DEADPOOL to join the Avengers samurai team. So the samurais are currently over in Japan. So funny, there's a heap of a dialogue with DEADPOOL in a dialogue about shonen manga and comics and the way that they portrayed. It was really funny. Like, he's hilarious and it makes me so laugh. Like, his dark humor is so funny and I loved it. And then we meet another Spider-Man in Japan, and she is a unique character, so has the same powers as Spider-Man, but so they call this Spider-Man Sakura Spider. So it is a female as well, which I think is a cool swapping gender roles, I suppose, because we all see Spider-Man unless we see it in the multiverse, the Spider-Verse, Gwen being a Spider-Man. But then we also see Loki in this, and he's the villain, so he's like trying to take over she's trying to take DEADPOOL to be a part of his villainized team, as well as some other bad folks that are in Japan. And then there's also this pop idol, and she has like a venom attached to her, one of the parasites. So that was really cool to see too, because they obviously bonded together and they live coexisting in the world. So that was fun. So overall, very action-packed. We got to see a lot of our favourite characters. I had a lot of fun with this, so it's getting 4 stars, and I think it's going to sit 2nd place. So LDK is still number 1, but this will be going as number 2. I had a lot of fun reading this. And then BIZENGHAST. This is a gothic fantasy series, and it is read from like a normal book, not like manga where it's like read from the opposite side, but obviously you still have manga panels and dialogue. It was just like written differently. So anywho, this is about a girl who can see ghosts, and her aunt thinks that she's going crazy basically and wants to put her into a hospital because she thinks that she's not going to be able to cope by herself. And she has a friend who helps her escape, and they go into the woods and find this abandoned asylum, and inside the asylum they find basically like a graveyard, but they come across a fantastical beings who then trap her to be a part of the world, and she has to solve all these riddles to unlock doors and find keys to set herself free again. So that's how it goes. The art style is very creepy, definitely extremely gothic. Like, if you love gothic big eye artwork, I think you will love this. It's very, very unique. I have not read anything like this before. Yeah, I loved it. And you read the manga from this side down and across, so it was very interesting, but absolutely gorgeous art style. Beautiful. I love this so much. So I'm giving this a 4.5. So after reading this, I'm going to rate this a 4.5 out of 5. So this will be number 2, and then DEADPOOL will sit number 3. So we're just gonna update the scoreboard. I will definitely be continuing on with this series. My library has all of the volumes available, so once this challenge is over, I will be picking up the rest of the series to read. But it was very fun and very eerie, very creepy. I love a good gothic, like, fantastical series, so this was right on my alley. Okay, so now that I've talked about those, I'm going to pull out tomorrow's picks. Okay, so I'm pulling out 2 again. So I have got, I'm actually excited for this one. We have One Punch Man Volume 1, which I have here. Okay, so One Punch Man Volume 1. I'm very excited for this. I know that it's obviously about One Punch Man, so we will see what happens. I know that the series gets a lot better, so I'm not going to judge it too badly if it's obviously got potential, but I'm excited nonetheless. And then I'm going to pick up my second read. Ooh, I have Bleach Volume 1 as well, which I also have physically, I think. Yeah, so this is a omnibus edition, but I will just read Volume 1 out of the omnibus. As you can see, it is volumes 1 to 3, but I will read just Volume 1 and let you all know how I feel, and if I like it, I will continue reading it. But I am very excited. I've heard really good things about Bleach as well, and again, my library has the whole series, so that's very promising if I enjoy it. So these are tomorrow's reads. I look forward to updating you all when I finish them. Right, look. Say hi. Say hi. Hi, vlog. Hi, vlog. Look. Baby. Yeah, you're right there in the camera. See? Okay. So I just finished reading One Punch Man Volume 1. This was such a fun time. I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. I liked Saitama as a character, and I thought it was really interesting how we got to One Punch Man. I mean, only training for 3 years, that's pretty impressive. Everyday training. I don't know what his extent is of training, but he went from an ordinary guy wanting to save the world to doing that in 3 years and being invincible. But he doesn't have any supercharge, he's not juiced up or anything like that. This is just how he is now. So I was very impressed. And there was a first attack, well, the first villain's name was Vaccine Man. I was like, what? And One Punch Man just wants to save the world, which is what he does, but he does it in one punch. And he's like pretty much invincible because he has been buried into the earth and still comes out in one piece. I just blows my mind, you know? He's become some immortal being. His skin is like steel and everything just reflects off of him and he doesn't actually get injured. His name is Saitama. So Saitama trains every day and he actually goes bald. That's why he's bald. He had hair before he became One Punch Man. So yes. Anyways, so overall I really enjoyed the concept and I definitely will continue on with this series for sure because I am very much intrigued, and I'm pretty sure I did watch the first episode of the anime, so the first fight scene looked familiar but I didn't get too far into it, so very surprising. Overall, really enjoyed it. I'm going to sit One Punch Man at number 5 on the rating scale. So I definitely will be continuing on with this series. I just finished reading Bleach Volume 1 and I'm giving it a 4.5. I had so much fun with this. I love the magic system. We follow Ishigu, who is our main character, and he is able to see ghosts basically, and then one day Kurujiki, I think that's how you pronounce her name, she is a reaper. she's a soul reaper, and finds him and tells him basically that we are now bound together and we have to work together to rid hollows from the world. And hollows basically eat the souls of the dead. So it was really good. And I really liked Ishigu. He has auburn hair. And this guy, a bully at school, was like, your hair is carrot piss. And I was like, that's really rude. So basically, the first fight scene, this demon entered his home and attacked his father and his two siblings as well. So then he was like, okay, let's do this sort of thing. And Kazuki, you need to take part of my power for you to be able to defeat this hollow. And so she transfers her soul reaper powers into Ishigo, but then the next day she isn't able to transfer them back or isn't able to connect with her source, so she's now powerless, and so she has to train Ishigo to become a soul reaper, even though he doesn't want to become a soul reaper because he doesn't want to put his life at risk for other people. Basically that's what he was implying. So that was a really interesting part, getting her training him, and they were already beefing with each other about having to train a specific way. But then there was another really good fight scene with one of his friends from high school, and there was another hollow that was tracking them down, and apparently hollows attack their family first, their relatives first, and then go for other people. So that was that. I just really enjoyed the demon aspect and the hollow aspect and the soul reaper aspect, and how Ishigu had the ability to see the dead, and basically the spirits don't ever leave him alone because they know that he can see them and that he helps them pass over. So that was really cool, and I will be continuing on with this 100%. This is an omnibus, so it has the first 3 volumes, and obviously I've finished reading the first volume, so I will be continuing on with this once I finish this challenge. But I will be rating Bleach Volume 1 at number 2 of my rankings list. I still really enjoyed LDK. It's just so heartwarming, and I know it was a quicker read. This was a lot more dialogue was in this volume. Yeah, it's quite heavy in dialogue, so I had a really fun time reading this, and I highly recommend Bleach. So now I'm going to pull out my next 2 reads for tomorrow. So the first one is Dr. Stone, Volume 1. So I'll be reading Dr. Stone. And this is my other one, The King's Beast Volume 1. I think this one's on Kindle Unlimited, and I have Dr. Stone physically up there somewhere. So yes, I will check back in with you all tomorrow. Okay, I apologize for the shitty lighting, but we'll just have to deal with this because I'm in a different room. So I'm going to give an update on the 2 volumes that I finished last night. So I finished Dr. Stone first. I loved this so much for the first volume anyways. I am giving this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So on the rating scale, this is going to be sitting at number 2 of my leaderboard. So we follow Senku. This is Senku on the cover here, and we also follow his friend Taiju. And basically what happens is that one day, before the actual events of everyone turning to stone, they're at high school. Tenju's about to confess his love to a girl who he has been in love with forever, and Senku is also a student, but he is a mastermind. He is basically like so incredibly smart. He knows everything. There is a lot of scientific formulas mentioned in this manga, and I really like that. I feel like I learnt a lot by reading this. So basically what happens is one day everyone turns to stone. The whole world turns to stone. So then 3,500 years later, Senku wakes up, and so he notices everyone's turned to stone. So then he starts to make civilization again. He starts building his own fort and basically campsite, finding materials, finding food, surviving for 6 months before Taiju wakes up. And there is no, they don't know how they woke up. They're the two of them are the only two that have actually woken out of this slumber of being turned to stone. So their minds are still active when they are turned to stone. So for 3,500 years, Senku literally counted every second that he was turned to stone. But we basically just see them form a friendship. They were obviously friends before, but they form a really close friendship, coming together, building a connection, trust to make humanity whole again. That's their end game, is they want to make humanity again. So what do they have to do? They have to come up with an antidote to help the people who have been turned to stone. So they start to collect elixirs to make this elixir to rewind the damage that has been done. Now, you can see on the cover that there is like cracks in his skin, in Senku's skin. So after being turned to stone for so long, they have permanent damage physically from being turned to stone. I really enjoyed the art style that was in this manga. Some of the dialogue was quite immature, definitely more towards a younger audience, I would say, because they use like dummy or just those sort of words in dialogue. So overall though, their friendship was hilarious. There was a metaphor that was in there that I loved, so I highly recommend this. I will 100% continuing on with Dr. Stone. I thought it was a great read. And then the other volume that I read was The King's Beast. So I'm going to give this one a... I really don't know what to rate this. I would say maybe a 3.5. To be honest, I was extremely tired of reading this volume, so I didn't really take in all the information because I was just so exhausted. But I would probably sit this at a 3.5 star. So I might sit this... I don't actually know. I'll figure it out and I'll pop it on the I'll put it on the leaderboard once I figure that out. But I like this. I thought the premise was quite interesting. So basically we follow this girl. Her name is Rengetsu. Rengetsu is basically hiding her identity as a female when she is portrayed herself as a male to avenge her brother. So I guess Rengetsu is a jin and they are made to serve the kings. They are assigned to a prince or a king, etc, etc. And Rengetsu has disguised herself as a male with abilities and then gets assigned to a prince. And basically her twin brother was murdered and she wants to avenge her twin brother's death. And so has to compact drain, has to protect the prince at all costs. But the prince isn't what as she seems. He is very kind and nurturing and wants to protect him as much as he's supposed to protect the prince. So the prince does not know that Rengetsu is a female. But I get a lot of tension and angst between the two of them. So he may be gay because he thinks that Rengetsu is a male, but is not. So that's what I liked about this. The outside was very pretty, like very beautiful. But yes, I like the art style a lot, but I just didn't really grasp everything in this volume because I was so tired. I kind of skimmed over some parts, but all I know is Rengetsu is a jin, and any jin's abilities, they are beasts of this world. So basically a jin, if they are a male, they go to serve the royal family, and if they are female, they then become prostitutes and work in brothels, and they're just beasts to the humans pretty much. So that's how these go. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my next two volumes to read today. So I have my favourite mug here. I did put more options in because I found some more manga to read. Okay. Okay, so I've got Blame Volume 1. So that is option 1. I'm kind of scared that this is the one I just pulled out. Witch Hat ATELIER Volume 1. That is number 2. And they are both on Kindle Unlimited. Oh my gosh, how cute are my new Kindle stickers. And my little Chucky phone group. I'm literally obsessed. I want to read everything on my Kindle now because of how pretty it looks. I'm going to be talking about Witch Hat ATELIER Volume 1 and Blame Volume 1. Now, Witch Hat ATELIER, I gave a 4 stars. I loved the magic system of this first volume. So we follow our female main character, Coco. She's only a little girl and she's always been obsessed with magic her whole life. She has always wanted to know how you become a magician or a wizard and being able to wield magic. And one day she goes to this like farmer's market and this wizard gives her a book and a pencil, or a book and a pen, and basically she didn't really think of anything of it because she didn't think that's how magic was portrayed as. So her whole life she was just studying this book, all these patterns, and wanting to know what the meaning behind them was. And then a wizard rocks up in her town. His name is, I think the wizard's name is Queefty. And anyways, he rocks up and he's needing something fixed. So he goes there and he ends up going in and was going to buy something from from Coco's mother, but then something happens with one of the town's Pegasus carriages and it breaks down, and he said that he would be able to fix it with his magic. So then he goes into a workshop and he says like, Coco, can you mind the door, like no one's allowed to see this. And so she finds 2 kids on the roof trying to like looking to see what Queefty's doing, but she's like, no, that's not fair. So she ends up going on the roof with them and sees how he creates his magic. And when she realizes that the way that magic is wielded is through a pen and ink and tracing and drawing patterns, then she's like, oh my gosh, I have had this right in front of me my whole life. And then starts to draw patterns of wielding magic, but she creates something very forbidden, and the book that she had was full of forbidden magic, and she ends up turning her mother into a statue. So then Queefty takes her to his cottage area, basically like where he trains other wizards. Then he makes her become his apprentice, but she's only so young and she's never been brought up with magic, and the apprentices who are already at this academy based setting are not, one of them is not happy that Coco is there because he has been brought up as a wizard his whole life, his whole childhood. So then that's basically what the premise is, and I just thought the magic system was so interesting, like the crafting spells through ink and a pen. This is getting a 4 stars. It will be sitting 6 on the leaderboard because I did really enjoy it, but there are a few other series that I can't wait to continue on with. But I definitely will be reading more of Witch Hat ATELIER since it is on Kindle Unlimited. So Blame Volume 1, I'm giving it a 3 stars. I overall enjoy the premise where I basically like in space there's like multiple, like hundreds of levels, like continuous levels to other sectors in this one continuum, I guess. But basically we follow our main character. Basically wants to find more information on this genetics, and he needs to be able to access a data room, and that data room is like hundreds of levels above where he is. So he starts at the bottom pretty much and works his way up each level, and along the way he finds these cyborgs and monsters, and yeah, it's very gory. There's a lot of cyborgs and like the art style is very cool. I would say it was very cool. A lot of this manga was pretty much just no dialogue panels, so we were being told a story through each panel. So I thought that was quite cool. A lot of action scenes happened in this type of format. There was barely any dialogue if you just keep scrolling, and then like we get a little bit of text and dialogue, and then it's just a lot of
panels. But yeah, the art style is very cool. I did like that. But personally, I don't know if this was for me. I don't know if I will continue on with the series. It's just like very different to anything that I've read. And I kind of got a bit confused with the plot side of things, but all I knew was like the main character was pretty much after information on this genetic gene being able to see numbers. So obviously it's like a code for something, and I'm assuming that's where it will continue on from. But I'm going to put this one at the bottom of the leaderboard. So this will be sitting at number 15. It wasn't terrible. It's getting it's got a 3 stars. So 3 stars is okay. I don't know. It's just not every manga is going to work for me, and I don't think this one did work for me, but that's totally fair enough. That's fine. That's totally fine. Okay, I'm going to pull out the next 2 volumes that I'll be reading today, and then I will be caught up to the 17th. So today is the 17th of September. So if I read 2 more volumes today, I will be caught up to my 30 and 30. Yes. Okay. I also found 2 more volumes yesterday at the library, so I'm really excited to read those, and that's a part of this. Okay, so the first one that I picked out was You Are My Pet Volume 1. I have no idea what this is about, to be honest. I know it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I found it's like a Sojin romance, I think. And then the next one is Devil's Line Volume 1, which is also on KU. So I'll be reading those. I will check back in with you guys when I finish these. This is my update for You Are My Pet Volume 1 and Devil's Line Volume 1. Now, I will say You're My Pet Volume 1 was really cute. I actually really enjoyed this, and I'm going to give it a 4 stars. So on the leaderboard that will probably sit at number 8. So I feel like that's a good rating for You're My Pet. So basically we follow Momo, who is a college, not even a college student, he is a dancer, and he performs as a dancer. One day SAMAURI finds Momo in a box abandoned out the front of her building, apparently, and SAMAURI basically takes Momo in as her pet. So she cooks for him, feeds him, baths him, gives him pats, like basically treats Momo as a pet. And Momo was her old dog's name before it passed away, and so she gives him a name as Momo, and he just lives there and literally is treated like a pet. But they have such a platonic relationship, and they both really care about each other, and that's what the volume is about. They grow a really fond relationship between each other, and SAMAURI goes on a lot of dates with other men, and Momo doesn't get impressed by that and like kicks up a storm. It was really funny, honestly. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cute as well. And like usually in another context you would think that sort of relationship would be as like a fetish thing, but it wasn't weird at all. Like he was very well looked after. Momo was very well looked after as a pet, and he calls SAMAURI his mistress. So that's just how the relationship is. So I do look forward to continuing on with this series, as it is on Kindle Unlimited, so I will be reading more of it when I have the time. But overall I really enjoyed it. It's something that I've never really read before, so it was a fun time. Devil's Line is literally about vampires, and they call the vampires devils. So devils live within amongst the humans in Tokyo. Enzai is a part of a police task force that captures devils, but Enzai himself is half human, half devil, so he has the abilities obviously to transform into a devil, and blood makes him very switched off. Like he loses control at times, and he meets Tusaka, I think that's pronounced her name. He meets Tusaka, and she's a college student, and basically what happens is like she's walking with her friend who is a devil and almost gets assaulted, and then Enzai finds Tusaka and helps her, and he is very fond of helping women when it comes to being assaulted. So that's basically what we got for Ensign. He was like part emo, gothic, like goth vibes, so hot, like chef's kiss. Like, I thought it was so hot. And obviously Ensign and Telsaka, they form a relationship, and obviously devils aren't supposed to be with humans, that's not how it works, but it's very interesting. There's a lot of investigations where we got to see like a human who is killing devils and like asyling them. But yeah, it was really good and I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 5 stars. I freaking loved it. I will be reading the rest of the series 100%. So Devil's Line Volume 1 will be sitting at number 1 on the leaderboard. I loved it. Even the dialogue was really cool. I really liked it, and I felt like it was very similar art style wise to Chainsaw Man. I have watched some of the anime of Chainsaw Man, and I've seen some panels of the manga, and yes, I found some similarities with Chainsaw Man and Devil's Line, but obviously they are completely different plots, and I really enjoyed it. So yes, it was very dark as well, with some panels were quite dark and gory. I loved it. One of my new favorites. So that was so much fun. I'm just gonna give it a good shake because I really want a different genre. I wanted this one and I got it. Demon Slayer Volume 1. So that is my next read. And I have this from Libby. Yeah, so I borrowed this from Libby. It's on my Kindle, so I will be reading that next. I'm actually really excited. I wanted this pick so badly, and because I have to return it soon, so I'm so excited for Demon Slayer. I haven't watched the anime and I have not read the manga. My partner, he has watched the anime and loves it, but yeah, I haven't read the manga, so I'm really excited. So I'll check back in with you guys once I finish Demon Slayer Volume 1. Hello, I apologize for like this angle and how I look right now. I'm currently editing this video as we speak, and I'm like coming back to the past to update Demon Slayer because I thought I did an update, which I'm pretty sure I did, but I must have forgot to transfer my video clip over to my computer before I got my new phone, so it's gone. So anyways, I'm here to give you an update. I absolutely love Demon Slayer. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I am going to rate it number 4 on the leaderboard. So Demon Slayer is about Tenjiro, who is a young boy, teenager now, and he basically has to look after his sister after what happened to his sister. She turned into a demon, and demons are frowned upon within their world, and basically the demons attack humans. And what happened was that Tenjiro went on a day trip to go get some supplies from town and ended up coming back to his village and his home, and his whole family had been slaughtered by Nezuko, which was very sad because he was only so young, and Nezuko was younger than him, like Tenjiro's younger sister Nezuko. So then he sets off basically to this mountain to acquire help from a trainer. Basically she goes into a really deep sleep, Nezuko does, for years, and Tenjiro has to fight to become a demon slayer, has to train and get strong over a course of so many years until he finally graduates and he's officially a demon slayer. So he can look after his sister as long as his sister doesn't take any more human blood. So that's basically what the premise of the story was. I love the art style. I thought it was quite beautiful. I loved Tenjiro as a character. Nezuko, the poor darling, having to deal with what happened to her. But I'm really excited to continue on with the Demon Slayer series. I have not watched the anime, and nor have I read any more of the manga, but I definitely will be continuing on with both at some point. My partner has actually watched the anime already and loves it, so I know that I'm going to really enjoy my time continuing on with this series. So yes, that is my update for Demon Slayer Volume 1. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. For my next read, I pulled out AJIN Volume 1, and obviously I don't have the clip for that, but you will see my thoughts and feelings on that in the next clip. So thank you.
Hello, if you can hear fans, I apologise. We are in a heat wave and I'm dying, so every single fan in my bedroom is currently turned on. But I am coming on here to do my update and to let you all know how I thought about AJIN Volume 1. So I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars. I overall really liked the premise, but there was just some parts of it that felt so unrealistic. Like, for example, so basically the story of AJIN is about demi-humans. So demi-humans are pretty much like gods in this world. They do not die. They can try and get blown up, etc, etc, but they always come back. And pretty much it's like a kind of like a venom that is attached onto these people. They have a whole other identity, and these demi-human factors of themselves are extremely violent and just kill, basically. The people in this town, they get together and they try and capture these demi-humans because you can get a lot of money for recognizing a demi-human, because before a demi-human dies, they just a normal human, like they don't know they're demi-humans until they actually die and come back to life. So we follow Key, and he is a demi-human. So he is in high school, and one day he's walking home from school and he gets run over, and immediately everyone thought, holy crap, like Key's being run over, he's dead now. But no, he got up and he was stronger than ever, and then everyone noticed and was like, a demi-human. So he ran for his life. He ran to a hiding spot where he used to play when he was a kid, and his old friend Kai, who he has not spoken to in around 10 years. He thinks that Kai's weird. At school he always thought he was a weird kid. They used to be best friends when they were younger, but then their parents told them not to see each other anymore. And Key rings Kai and asks him if he can do him a favor by helping him escape the town, and automatically Kai's like, yep, I'm on my way, don't worry, you can trust me, even though they haven't spoken in 10 years. I just thought that was unrealistic in a way. I didn't really understand how someone can just drop their whole life for someone they haven't spoken to in 10 years, because he had to give up his life now, like he's on the run too. So that was the premise of that book, and there was a bit of gore. We feel like these investigations, like this organization try and capture the demi-humans to like basically take them to a lab and study them. So that's what it was all about. I really did like the premise of it, and I might continue on with it, but there are quite similar series out there that I'm more interested in. So overall I did like it, but it's going to probably sit at ranking at number 12, which is below One Punch Man. So anyways, that's what AJIN was about. Overall I didn't like it, but now we're going to pull a number 20 pick. I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm going to get, but I'm giving it a really good shake because I want something different. Okay, we have Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 1. So I have the omnibus that I got from the library. I'll just grab it from my shelf. So this is the first 3 volumes, and I'm just going to read the first volume and see how I like it. So I'm very intrigued. I want to go into this blind, but I know that Verona Pages on BookTube absolutely loves the Fullmetal Alchemist series, so I'm really excited to read this, and I will update you all when I finish it. Hi, so I'm coming out here from like a weird area. I just got a new phone. I got the iPhone 15 Plus in the pink color, and I'm literally so obsessed. So I'm so excited for like better content to come with the camera quality. But if you can hear Raven eating her friggin' biscuits, you're right. As I was saying, hi, coming up here to talk to me. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to do a little update about Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 1, which I finished. Are you good? Okay, sorry, Raven's distracting. She keeps wagging her tail and it's wagging the bed frame. Okay, so Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 1.
I really enjoyed this. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5. We follow Edward Elric, and he is the full metal alchemist of this town. The alchemists are humans who can wield the power of alchemy, and yes, basically if you break the rules of alchemy and do forbidden alchemy, then you are obviously, you have to give up something in return for what you did. So the plot is that him and his brother, this is Edward and this is his brother, and they were both normal human boys years ago, and they tried to resurrect their mother from the dead, and they ended up using resurrection alchemy, and basically it is forbidden. So what happened was his brother turned completely into metal, and he has half of an arm that is metal, like his whole half of his body is metal. And so they're trying to reverse that, and they've gone on a quest to find the Philosopher's Stone, which is a part of the book. And we just see them basically go on quests and go through towns and cause some mayhem. But the alchemists who basically work for the president of the president, and so that's really interesting. I really enjoyed the premise of this, and I will 100% be continuing on with this series because it is really interesting and I'm really excited for it. So yeah, basically that's what we get. We got a lot of action. It was really fun. There was quite a lot of dialogue as well, I felt. So all in all, it was a fun time. Giving it 4.5. So the rating on the leaderboard, it will sit at number 6. So it's not as exciting as Bleach Volume 1 was, but it definitely will be overtaking BIZENGHAST Volume 1. So that was fun. I really want Chainsaw Man right now. Please give me Chainsaw Man. Please give me Chainsaw Man. Got Chainsaw Man Volume 1. I am so excited. I actually got a hold from Livy to read this on my iPad, so that's what I'll be doing right now, is reading Chainsaw Man Volume 1. So I'll let you guys know when I finish this. So friends, I just finished Volume 1 of Chainsaw Man, and I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. I will be rating this first on the leaderboard because it was so good. I loved it so much. I think I have like a thing for Devils because Devil's Line is sitting at number 2 and Chainsaw Man is sitting at number 1. I love Denji as a character. I think he's hilarious. He does have some depraved inner thoughts, but we won't go there with that. Chainsaw Man is about Denji, and he is just a normal human boy who lives among devils, and devils are obviously creatures that are horrible, and they kill humans for their own benefit and to eat them to survive, and so, or to grow stronger. And basically, like, Denji has taken on the task to be a devil hunter because he is paying back a debt that he owes over like 300,000 yen, I think, or 3 million, I don't know, but it was a lot of money. And so he basically sold his life to kill devils, and he has sold his eye, one of his eyes, liver, like parts of his body he has sold to get money to pay back his debt. And so devil hunting does pay back that debt in a way slowly. So he does kill devils, but he also has a best friend who is a devil. But some devils are just as harmless as any other human. So him and his bestie, they look after each other because Denji is very poor. He only eats a loaf of bread every other day. Like he only is able to pay for a loaf of bread to eat. So it's really sad. Like the beginning of his backstory, I thought it was really sad, but so cute, so cute. And then one day he gets asked to do another devil hunt, so he goes, but he gets sabotaged. And when he gets sabotaged, he encounters like a whole group of devils because they want to kill all the devil hunters, etc. And so they go to kill him, and they basically do a good job at almost killing him because they cut him up and dump him,
and then his best friend, who is a chainsaw devil, like he has like a head of a chainsaw, he ends up giving his life over to Denji because they promised each other that they would look after each other for the rest of their lives. And so he gives his heart, his soul to Denji, so they become one. So Denji is now half human, half devil, and so he can change into a devil when danger is around. So that's what the premise was. It was really fun. Denji has a fascination of boobs because he found out, he's like, now that I actually have a chance at life, I want to be able to touch boobs. So now all he thinks about inner thoughts is boobies. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Denji is taken in to be a part of this devil hunter organization. So they work with the police and they're in a division, and he's now being trained. So he's basically a pet because once he nearly died, Special Ops Force takes him in, but basically he has to serve them now. But he is being fed, he gets a place to stay, so really he is not complaining. He thinks it's a great opportunity, so that's what he does, and then he starts to kill more devils. But it was so good. I freaking loved it, and I borrowed it off Libby, so I will be reading volume 2 very shortly because I actually got a hold of volume 2, so I'm so excited for that. And I have been reading them on my iPad because my eyesight's getting worse, so like the Kindle screen for me now is not big enough. So iPad, I've been reading my manga and it's so fun. So now I'm going to pull out the next read. Okay, giving it a really good shake. Alright, I'm just gonna pull now. Okay. Oh, okay, so I got Snow White with the Red Hair, volume 1. This is what I'll be reading next, and I can't spell, so that's why there's a scribble. But I'm really excited. I actually have this physically. Let me just get it. Okay, so I actually do have this physically. I did start reading the first volume, but I wasn't in the right headspace or the mood to be reading it, so I put it down, but I will be starting it because I don't remember what happens anyways. So I'm just going to take that bookmark out, but I really love this cover. I just love the cottagecore aesthetic. It's so pretty. So I'm very excited to read this. I will check back in with you all when I finish Snow White with the Red Hair, volume 1. Okay, so I'm doing an update for Snow White with the Red Hair, and I end up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Still really enjoyed it though, so it's getting a 7 on the leaderboard, just above FULLMETAL Alchemist, but I did enjoy Bleach a little bit more than the first volume anyways. But basically we follow Shiroyuki, and that is Shiroyuki, and she has hair the color of an apple, and basically the Prince of Tenbaran wants to marry her, and she does not want this. The only reason why he wants to marry her is because she has such unique hair and it is so special, I would say. So Shiroyuki runs away and she climbs over this wall and tries to get out of the town, and she comes across Zen, who is another major role in this story, and Zen is actually a prince. And so they find themselves in a tavern, and she has a red apple in her bag that she took with her, and so Zen eats the apple, and she was like, it's not poisonous or nothing, but it actually was poisonous. And so then Zen gets poisoned and she freaks out. She has to go back to the Prince of Tenbaran, but he has built immunity towards poison, so he actually wasn't that badly poisoned. He still come through, and so yeah, they form a friendship of some sorts, and she follows him to his neighboring town, and that's what happens. I loved this. There was also like a bonus chapter at the end that I did not read because I just could not be bothered, to be honest. But the beautiful art style, I really enjoyed it. Let me just see if I can get a good panel. Like, this was the apple that I was talking about here, so this is Zen here. Apples, poisonous apple. Overall, really enjoyed my time reading this. It was a fun read. Anyways, I'm going to pull out 2 more volumes now.
So I have my cup and there is exactly 8 volumes left. So I'll be pulling out 2 volumes for the rest of the month. So gonna give, oh, one just fell out. So I might just pick that one up. I'll put that there. Give it a good shake. Okay. I'm just going to pull out this one as well. Okay, so the first one that pulled out, oh, To Your Eternity Volume 1. This is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be reading this on my iPad. And the second book is also on Kindle Unlimited, Flying Witch Volume 1. So that is what I'll be reading in the next day. I'm very excited. Flying Witch looks so cute. It's about a girl going to a witch academy sort of thing, and I have no idea what To Your Eternity is about, but the cover looks really cool. Hello friends, so I'm doing my update for To Your Eternity Volume 1 and also Flying Witch Volume 1. So I read both of those yesterday, and I'm going to talk about To Your Eternity first. So I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars, and on the leaderboard it is going to be sitting at number 21. I thought this was very unique. Basically the story is about an orb that is sent to Earth, and this orb finds a dead wolf in the middle of the Antarctic. So basically the conditions are snowy conditions and they're in the middle of nowhere. So the orb creates a living thing through this wolf that has died. So it basically copies its genetic mutation and turns into this wolf and finds its way back to the owner. And the owner, the boy that finds this wolf, thinks that he's his pet wolf that he's been missing for 2 months. So then basically the boy used to be able to talk to the wolf like they were best friends, and he used to know what they were talking about. He basically used to talk to the wolf about everything, and the wolf would understand what certain phrases meant to him, like eat boy or things like that. And this wolf, this orb that has turned itself into a wolf, has no idea how to live that way and has to copy the boy into learning how to eat, how to sleep, and etc, etc. So then the boy starts to form a connection with this wolf, and he decides that he wants to travel and he wants to find a town and he wants to move on with his life. He wants to find a better life for himself and his pet wolf. But in doing so, they have to set on a journey, which is a very long journey in the snow conditions, and travel to find more humans and to build a new life. So they set off together, and the boy gets sick or he injures himself and he actually dies because he can't survive the conditions. But he does tell the wolf, like, I want my dreams, I want this to happen, this is what's going to happen in my dreams. And the wolf registers this as a part of a mission now to succeed in fulfilling the boy's dreams. So then he turns himself into a human, into the boy, and travels on to further to find humanity, to find more people. And that's where it goes from there. It's very unique. We kind of flash forward to like a new timeline, and the orb itself can regenerate into new life. So if it dies, it gets smarter. So it doesn't matter how many times it actually dies, it gets smarter and smarter and smarter until it can compute and process what the human body can do and understand. So that's what I got from that story. I thought it was quite interesting and quite unique, but it wasn't for me in a way. I liked it, but I thought it was just, I don't know, I didn't really, yeah, I thought it was very unique and interesting, but for me, I personally didn't love it. So it's not for me, but it might be for someone else. So that was To Your Eternity. And then Flying Witch Volume 1, I gave it a high 4 stars. I love the vibes of this. This will be sitting at number 10. So Flying Witch is basically about a teenage girl who is a witch, and she decides that she wants to travel to her cousins. So she meets her cousin, and this girl, the main character, has no sense of direction. So her cousin has to pick her up from the train station and she goes to live with them, and basically the cousin has a younger sister and she forms a relationship with them. At first the younger sister thought that she was really weird and creepy, but didn't realize she was a witch until she tells them that she is a witch and that she can perform magic, but she doesn't really practice magic. She is very quiet, so she doesn't like to let on that she's a witch, and they're not really meant to say that they're witches. Like, witches are meant to keep it as a secret in this society. So she does tell a few people, and then she realizes like, oh, like maybe I should just keep quiet. But there was a reference to a sprout. Do you remember those sprouts, or the, I don't know if anyone's watched Harry Potter before, but when they're in that class, in the gardening class, I suppose, I don't even really remember, I don't really care much about Harry Potter, but in the gardening class when they pick up that root and it like screams, and it was exactly like that. It looks identical to the Harry Potter, so I don't know if there was like no inspiration, but they just took it from Harry Potter and put it as their own. I don't know, I thought it was very similar, but the vibes were there. I definitely felt witchy vibes. I love anything witchy. I'm a witchy gal. I love it so much. It's so enthralling to me, so I had a really good time reading it. Besides that, I like learning about witches, and I love living through witches because I used to want to be a witch one, like when I was younger, obviously. But yeah, it was just really fun. So that's how I felt about The Flying Witch Volume 1. I definitely will probably continue reading that just to see where it goes. The main character, a little bit dumb. She has no sense of direction, but she does start to learn, so that's the main thing, right? She's learning. Anywho, I'm going to now pull out 2 more reads. So I have my trusty dusty cup here. I'm just going to pull out 2 more reads. Okay, so the first one, okay, this is a romance. This is a side character's love story, volume 1. This is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be reading this on my iPad. And also the next read, I'm just gonna pick this one up. Okay, School Judgment Volume 1. I've actually got this up here. So School Judgment Volume 1 is actually from the same creator of the Death Note series, so I'm really excited to see what this series is about because I love Death Note so much. So those were the next 2 volumes that I'll be reading for my video. I will check back in with you all when I finish them. I'm so tired. The last thing I want to do right now is talk about books, and the last thing I want to do is read. I just finished reading School Judgment. There is so much dialogue in this. So much dialogue. No wonder it's from the creators of Death Note, because that series has a lot of dialogue as well. I was like, oh my god. Like, it was good, it was fun, but a lot of dialogue. I'm just gonna say that. So I read a side character's love story. I rated a low 3. I didn't really like it that much. I found it so cringy. So on the leaderboard, that will be sitting at number 22. Yes, number 22. I am sorry to everyone if you have read this series and you enjoyed it. This just first volume for me was just so cringy. I don't know. I don't like cringy dialogue. It kind of just unsettles me and makes me cringe, and I don't like cringe. So we basically follow this girl, and she works at a supermarket, and she's had a crush on one of her co-workers forever, and he finally starts talking to her. They start working together more, and she's just so awkward, and her inner thoughts are so awkward. Although I will give the little props to the creator of this manga, because there was some sections of her personality traits which I could relate to, because it was like, oh, she doesn't like confrontation, or likes to speak up if her order's wrong or something like that. Like, I don't like that either. I hate doing that myself. But yeah, it was just really cringy. And so we just follow them connecting in a way, but also ultimate cringe. That's what I'm really going to say, because that's basically all the story is about for the first volume anyways. So although 3 stars for me, definitely not for me, and I definitely don't think I'll be continuing on with the series because it, yeah, didn't really spark my interest that much. So yes, I read School Judgment, and again, this didn't really spark my interest that much. I think it would be great for a younger audience, but this just didn't really interest me. It is basically about school middle grade kids, and they are at school, and so there is a new curriculum that has come into the schools that they have to pass school judgment. So any dispute that occurs in the schools has to go through a curriculum of law, so they have to basically go to court within the school, and if they get pled guilty, they go to this penitentiary school. It's really weird. But the first little instance was we follow our main character, and we follow this little boy here, and he's being framed for killing a fish that was in a tank, and the fish was the class's pet, but yeah, he killed the fish from everyone's perspective, and so they had to partake in school judgment, and they had to gather evidence. And this guy here is a lawyer, and he is like 12 years old. So all middle grade age kids in the court of law, like, and then the judges who sentence these kids are toddlers that look like adults. It's really funny. Some of the, yeah, I'll just see if I can find a panel because I pissed myself laughing. I thought it was so funny. This is a toddler middle-aged man, it looks like. No offense, but yeah. So as I said, a lot of dialogue I've found to be in this volume, and your girl's tired and she just did not want to read it. So that's how we're feeling. And yeah, so it's getting a 3 stars from me. I'm gonna rate this at number 22 because I liked it more than A Side Character's Love Story, but I liked Your Eternity more. So I think that's a fair rating. So I'm going to put it at number 22. I'm going to pull out my next read. I have a couple of holds on Libby that I need to read, so I'm hoping I'll pick up a Libby book. Okay. YONA of the Dawn, Volume 1. I'm really excited to read this. I have the first volume available on Libby, so I'm going to read this next. Anyways, I'll check back in with you when I finish YONA of the Dawn Volume 1. So I just finished reading YONA of the Dawn Volume 1, and I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and it's going to be sitting at number 6 on the leaderboard because I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed it more than Bleach, I found, but not as much as Demon Slayer. I don't know. So we basically follow Princess YONA, and she is basically at an age now, she's 16 years old, where she's wanting to pursue a relationship with her cousin, right? They're cousins, they're related, and she has the hots for her cousin. This is giving me House of the Dragons vibes, even though they were uncle and niece, but yeah. And like the cousin is like a couple of years older than her, and she's only just turning 16. Like she's 15 in the beginning, and he's well over 18 years old, and it's just, to me, it's really freaking weird, right? And then we see YONA's personal guard, I would say, and he loves her, and you can just tell right away that he loves her, but she has a fascination and an obsession with her cousin. But then there's a massive betrayal that happens, and we basically follow YONA, absolutely heartbroken and just broken in general as a human being, mission to escape the kingdom with her chief commander. I'm trying to think of his name now, but I don't remember. He now has to keep her safe at no matter the cost. No matter the cost. And that's basically what happens in volume 1. I don't want to give anything. I'm not going to give anything else away because that would be just like really major spoilers to the plot. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was really, really good. I liked YONA as a character. I loved the chief commander. He's like 18, I would say. Absolutely, devotion is there. So I can just see that there will be a relationship forming between the two of them, even though they have known each other their whole entire lives pretty much since they were really young. So I'm really excited to continue on with that series when I have the chance. Okay, now I'm going to pull out the next 2 volumes that I'll be reading tomorrow. I only have a few volumes left in here. I think there's like 4, maybe not even 4. Okay, we're nearly done, guys. Okay, so we have 2 volumes left and I don't know which one is going to be. Okay, this is another Kindle read, which is called Fire Force Volume 1. I don't know what that's about. There was just a firefighter on the cover. So that's what I'll be reading. And then tomorrow, since it's the last one, not tomorrow, and then Sunday, the 30th of September, I will be reading my last read of this 30 and 30. I'm just going to show you now because, yeah, it might be lucky number last. That is Vinland Saga Volume 1. So I'll be reading Vinland Saga as well. That will be on Sunday's read. I will check back in with you all when I finish my next 2 reads. Hello friends. Oh, okay, hello. I am coming on here to do my final update of this vlog. I'm so excited, although the last couple of volumes that I read was not overly satisfying to end this challenge. But anyways, I'm going to talk about My Little Monster Volume 1. This got a 2 stars for me, so right off the bat, it is getting the last ranking on the leaderboard. I did not like this at all. I felt like it took me forever to read, even though it was one of the quicker manga volumes that I read. So I wasn't overly intrigued by it. I wasn't interested in any of the characters. It was just kind of bland to me. Hello, Ray. Hi, yeah. Oh, you're so beautiful. Okay. So anyways, My Little Monster, I honestly forget what it was about. I'm just going to get up my Kindle app because I will be able to tell you exactly what it's about, I guess. So, Mizutani is a self-absorbed overachiever concerned only with them maintaining the highest grades in school. Haru is an explosive, short-tempered brute who scares everyone with his explosive bursts of violence. Haru gets suspended on the first day of school when he encounters some bullies harassing a student and dispatches the bullies with great bloody violence. Mizutani is tasked with delivering school materials to Haru, who intercepts this as an act of friendships and latches onto Mizutani, much to her dismay, and so begins a strange and potentially combustible relationship. So that's literally what happens. Mizutani tries to drop off school supplies to Haru and gets intercepted, and then he becomes obsessed with her, thinking they're friends straight away, and all she cares about is grades, and then slowly gets more of a feeling of affection towards Haru. So she's like trying to explore her options as she wants to get to know Haru better, but also she is very annoyed and easily pissed off by him. But Mizutani is very self-centered in a way too, but she does care for him, and she starts to come into trouble with some of her schoolwork. So Haru actually starts to help her because he's actually really intelligent, and she's like, when did you get so smart, sort of thing. And he starts to say that, oh, I like you, and she doesn't know what to do with those feelings because she doesn't really know how to portray her feelings. So that's basically what happened in that story, and it's a high school setting. I don't know, it just didn't sit with me. I didn't like it. I didn't like this one, but that's fine. I might not like it, but other people may love it. So anyways, that was that. The next volume that I read was Fire Force Volume 1, which got a 5 stars. I love this so much. I ended up rating it on the leaderboard number 3. So that's really good for me. I loved it. The magic system was so interesting. Basically, we follow... So yes, Tokyo is plagued by humans who combust into flames. So it could be anyone. It would be one ordinary day, and next thing you know, your aunt, your father, your mother is combusting into a devil, like a demon, because once they combust, they turn into these really bad entities, and they turn into fire and start to burn down sectors and stuff. And there's a fire force, and basically there is a special team on, like a special fire force team that are able to extinguish these combustions, and they have special abilities. All of them know how to wield fire in their own way. So our main character, Shinra is our main character, and he has the ability to run at an exceptional speed. He has a nickname, Devil's Footprints. He leaves behind like footprints of like he never is able to keep a pair of shoes, like they always burn because he runs so fast. And so like the wind that he creates, like he's able to extinguish fires. And he joins the fire force, and he ends up graduating from this academy and gets put on the force, and him and his colleagues come into a lot of these combustions. So that's basically what the whole plot is about, I guess, with Fire Force, is they all have these special abilities, and the fire themselves that combust are these humans that combust. There's like this plague. It's a plague, but I loved it. I thought it was so fun, and it definitely is more mature themed. So I didn't screenshot it, but there was like one panel in here that I was like, why does these jokes have to come about? Like I was like, oh, like a mature themed, even though the cover looks like a kid could read it, but there's some dialogue in there that screams mature theme readers. Anyways, that was a really good read. I absolutely had the best time reading it, and I will definitely be continuing on with the series. The last volume that I read was Vinland Saga Volume 1, and I ended up rating this one. So I ended up rating Vinland Saga 24 out of 30, which I thought definitely fitted. I ended up giving this one a 3 stars, I'm pretty sure. I personally thought it was okay. It wasn't my cup of tea. I don't really know what was going on. I don't know. I kind of zoned out, I think, reading half of this volume, but I thought that the premise was quite interesting, especially the Viking era. Basically, Vinland Saga is about Vikings invading London, and there is a war that happens between 3 parties. But yes, it's basically a war. There's multiple parties that go to war. We've got the Vikings and then the 2 other continent sides that come together in being able to extinguish Vinland. I don't know. It kind of confused me, honest, not gonna lie. I didn't really understand it. I kind of got lost. But the art style I really liked, so that was a plus. But it was just a very average read to me. Like I said, I thought the premise was quite interesting, and the first volume is actually an omnibus, like it has volume 1 and 2, so I only read half of the Vinland volume 1, but it was the first 6 chapters. I'm pretty sure that was volume 1. Overall, I did enjoy my time at the time reading it, but it hasn't really computed in my brain. I don't really remember much, but you may love it. So that is that to you. So anyways, that concludes this video. This was a very lengthy month, and I feel so accomplished with finishing all the volumes of manga. I genuinely found some amazing series doing this 30-day challenge. I will be continuing on with so many of them as well. I have just really expressed my love for manga this month. I have enjoyed it so much. I definitely will be reading more manga in my day-to-day life, in my monthly reading goals. I would love to read at least another 2 volumes a month, because there are so many series now that I want to continue on with, so there is no excuse. Like, my library has a lot of the series that I wanted to continue on with, especially Dr. Stone.
I really enjoyed that series, and my library has the whole entire series there, so I will be reading that at some point as well. Just overall, I had such a great time with this challenge. I really hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and if you took any recommendations from this video, that's fantastic. I really hope you enjoy finding new series. If you are interested, or if you have taken on any notes about what kind of manga you should start out with, if you've only just recently gotten into manga, or if you're wanting to get into manga, I hope some of my reviews helped you decide what you'd like to pick up. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!